All right, let's dive into the world of B4E Insurtech. They're really shaking things up in the insurance world. We're going to figure out exactly what they're doing. We've got some stuff from their website, like excerpts and a summary of what they're all about. So our mission today,
On that.
it's to understand how B4E is trying to make insurance more inclusive. Yeah, more accessible on like a global scale.
Oh,
And I got to say, their approach is really different.
yeah, you're right about that. I think what's really interesting is their ambition. I mean, they're not just aiming to improve insurance a little bit. They're saying they want to reach 90% of the world's population.
Yeah.
The 90% that don't have insurance right now, that's a huge goal.
Seriously. It's massive. They keep talking about bridging the protection gap, and it seems like that's not just some marketing slogan to them. It's like
Yeah.
this idea of inclusivity is everywhere in their work. But how are they actually going to do
Well,
this?
that's where their tech comes in. They've got this no-code platform, which is pretty new for insurance. Imagine building a whole new insurance product in less than 30 minutes. That's what they're saying.
Wait, under 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Really? To make a whole insurance product, it usually takes months, even years. How does this no-code thing make it so much faster?
So it basically gets rid of the need for like all the complex coding stuff. It's like using pre-made building blocks instead of starting from nothing. This means a bunch more people can get involved in making insurance products, like reinsurers, insurers, MGAs, even the people who sell insurance. And they can all make their own products, tailored to what people need, much, much faster.
So it's not just about being fast to be fast. It's about giving power to a whole new bunch of insurance providers.
Mm.
But does that actually mean anything good for the people who need insurance?
Absolutely. B4E claims that this way of doing things can make getting products to market 80% faster. And it can cut development costs by 80%. And those savings? Wow. That could be what makes insurance affordable for people who've never been able to afford it before.
That makes sense. It connects back to that whole inclusivity thing, making insurance accessible not just geographically, but financially. But what kind of insurance are we even talking about here?
They actually cover a lot. Life insurance, general insurance, and health insurance. All of them can be customized and personalized so they fit what each person needs. And that's where this pre-underwritten rule-based thing comes in.
Okay, I was hoping you'd talk about that. It sounds interesting. But what does it actually mean for someone who wants to get insurance through B4E?
Basically, it means that underwriting, which is usually super long and complicated, well, it's simplified and automated. They have predefined rules and algorithms that figure out the risk so they can give you a price instantly and even approve you right there on the spot. It's all about making it faster and easier for the customer to understand.
Wow, so no more waiting weeks for an answer, which can be a real problem for people who need coverage fast. But all this automation and algorithms make me think about the role of data. With all this data, are there any downsides B4E needs to watch out for?
Well, any company that has a lot of personal data needs to be really careful about security and privacy. B4E will have to be open about how they collect, store, and use customer data. They have to build trust with their users.
That makes sense. Transparency is key, especially when you're dealing with financial information. But it seems like B4E is doing something right. They've won awards from groups like Chorus, Finext, and Insurtech Canada.
Yeah. Those awards definitely show that they're having an impact. They're not just talking about change. They're actually making it happen. And they're doing it in a way that's turning heads in the industry.
It's interesting. Their way of working with other companies also seems pretty unique. I'm curious about those FinsurTech integration and bank assurance things they mentioned. What's their strategy there?
Well, it's about reaching more people, especially those underserved markets. Think about it. By working with fintech platforms or banks, B4E can access all those existing customers and infrastructure. They don't have to build everything themselves. Yeah, it's pretty clever. They get to kind of skip over some of the usual roadblocks in the insurance world. Instead of building everything themselves, they're using networks and relationships that already exist.
So it's like meeting people where they are, right? Like in their banking apps or community groups. Not like that old school image of an insurance agent knocking on your door.
Exactly. It's about weaving insurance into people's lives, making it, easy and seamless. And speaking of easy, B4E talks a lot about how their platform is one-click simple. They even have these client-facing demos. What do you think about that?
That's interesting. I guess it's about transparency, right? Making the world of insurance less mysterious.
I think so. By letting potential customers actually try the products, they can see for themselves how easy the platform is and actually understand what they're getting.
It's like a test drive before you buy a car. You get a feel for how it works before you commit. And that feeling of control and understanding, well, that could be really empowering for people who are new to insurance or for those who've had bad experiences with traditional insurance companies.
Absolutely. It's about building trust and giving people the tools they need so they can make good decisions about their financial well-being. And it all goes back to B4E's main mission, right? To democratize insurance. They're not just selling a product, they're selling a vision of a more inclusive and fair financial future.
It's a powerful vision, for sure. But let's be real for a second. Are there any downsides or challenges to all this? Is it really all smooth sailing?
Of course. Whenever you disrupt a big industry like this, there are going to be some bumps along the way. For example, complying with all the regulations in different countries could be a huge obstacle. Insurance is heavily regulated. Navigating all those different legal frameworks globally will be a big job for B4E.
And what about data security? With all this real-time data and digital platforms, making sure all that sensitive information is safe is really important.
You're right. Data security can't be an afterthought, especially with financial products. B4E has to show they have strong security measures in place and be totally transparent about how they handle customer data. That's how they'll build trust. Any mistake in this area could really hurt their reputation.
True, it's not just about building a fancy platform. It's about building a foundation of trust and responsibility. And with any new technology, there's always the risk of unintended consequences. Could this kind of platform be misused or exploited by bad actors?
Yeah, it's a valid concern. Any technology can be misused. So B4E needs to be proactive. They need to anticipate and try to reduce those risks. That means investing in strong security measures, educating users about the potential threats, and staying ahead of the curve when it comes to new risks and vulnerabilities.
So the potential benefits are huge. But it's not a perfect solution. There are some complex issues that need to be handled carefully.
Exactly. It's not just about building a platform, it's about building a responsible and sustainable ecosystem, something that benefits everyone.
Which takes us back to our original question. Can a no-code approach like B4E's really make insurance accessible to everyone globally?
It's definitely a step in the right direction, but it's just the beginning. It's going to take collaboration, innovation, and a real commitment to doing things ethically.
And probably most importantly, it's going to take listening to the people who've been left out of the insurance world. Those who haven't had access, who haven't been served well, or who just couldn't afford it.
Yeah, you're right. It really shows how important the human side of things is. The technology can build the platform, but it's people. Understanding what people need, what their situation is, that's what will determine if B4E succeeds.
So true. As we finish up our look at B4E Insurtech, I think we're left with this feeling of optimism, but also some cautious curiosity. They've got a compelling vision. But as we talked about, there are challenges ahead too.
It's a fascinating example of how technology can create social change. I'm really interested to see how B4E handles the global insurance market and if they can actually make good on their promise to democratize access.
It's like we've seen a glimpse of the future of insurance, a future where financial protection isn't just for some people, but it's a right for everyone. It's exciting, but kind of scary too.
That's what I love about looking at these cutting-edge innovations. It makes us think about what's possible, but also the risks. It pushes us to ask hard questions and consider different viewpoints.
And that's what I love about these deep dives. We get to unpack complex topics, learn from experts like you, and often we end up with even more questions.
That's a good sign. It means we're really engaging with the topic. It's not about finding all the answers. It's about understanding more and asking more questions. It's about encouraging our listeners to keep thinking about these ideas.
So for our listeners who are as fascinated by B4E Insurtech as we are, where would you suggest they go to learn more?
Well, their website is a great place to start. It has tons of information about their platform, their products, and their vision for the future of insurance.
And I bet their social media is active too. Lots of updates and insights there. Plus, there are probably articles and interviews with them in industry publications.
Definitely. And if you really want to go deep, I recommend looking at some of the reports from organizations like Insurtech Canada and DigitalInsurance APAC. They provide a lot of context and analysis of the whole Insurtech world.
And for those who learn it better visually, I suggest checking out that client-facing demo we talked about. It's a great way to see how the platform actually works and to see that one-click simplicity in action.
For sure. Sometimes seeing is believing. Who knows, maybe you'll be inspired to build your own insurance product in under 30 minutes.
That would be amazing. A true example of B4E's mission to democratize insurance. Imagine a world where anyone with internet access can create and use financial protection that fits their needs.
It's a bold idea, but worth exploring. And you never know, maybe one of our listeners will be the next big Insurtech innovator. inspired by what B4E is doing.
Well, that's a wrap on our deep dive into B4E Insurtech. We hope you enjoyed this journey